and we're good. So my name is Nathan Slusser. I'm here. I'm with the Jefferson County Veterans Service Office. It is Friday, the 26th of February of 2021. I'm here with Gabriel
Arlia.
Arlia. I'll say it right by the end of the interview. We're at 500 Market Street in Steubenville, Ohio. And the purpose of this interview is for the the Library of Congress Veteran History Project. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the questions pulled up, and we're going to start off with tell me a little bit about yourself, where you were born. Just give me a little history on yourself.
I was born in Monte Calabria, Italy.
Okay.
And let's see. We came back to the United States December the 6th, 1936. I was 8 years old. My sister was 5 years old. She had never seen my dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What was your dad doing over here?
He was working here. My dad came in 1922 at 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
The only reason my grandfather let him come, there was a 30-year-old that had come back and forth to the United States and back to Italy, and he was coming back, so he was supposed to watch over him and 5 others, same age.
Okay.
We got to New York, and the girlfriend was waiting for him. He said, "Okay, boys, this is America, go get it."
So he didn't do his job at all.
No,
That's
nothing.
wow.
So we had what we called an aunt, but she was not our aunt. Lived in Providence, Rhode Island. So they stuck a Providence sticker on his shirt. Off to Providence he goes. He goes to Providence, and he don't know the address of this aunt. So he ends up in a boarding house.
Okay.
And he got a job on Rhode Island. The Providence, city of Providence was laying water and sewer lines for the city.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they were doing. So where we come from, we're from the south part of Italy. We never had a coat. All we had at this time of the year, maybe a sweater. That's it.
Fairly warm climate there.
Yeah. So he was working for an Italian. The boss was Italian. He told him, "Hey, boy, you're going to die here if you don't get some winter clothes." And then my dad says, "This is all I got." So he says, "Well, after work, we're going to go get you some." So he took him to a Jewish store
Mm-hmm.
and got him work shoes, long johns, for winter.
Right.
So the store owner said, "Who's going to pay?" And that guy told him, "He's going to pay. If he doesn't, I will." Okay, so payday comes. My dad goes, all his money, here. And that guy says, "You can't do that. How are you going to eat?" So he took out whatever, and they was only making 10 cents an hour.
Right.
So he took out, he says, "Next pay, you pay some more." And you couldn't tell my dad anything bad about a Jew. No way.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He finally found my, what we called our aunt, and first thing any Italian will ask you, are you hungry? My dad said no. So she fried him a couple eggs, and he ate a dozen eggs and a loaf of bread.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then you obviously you're here, so you came over. Did you speak any English when you came over?
Nothing.
So was that difficult?
Huh?
Was that difficult to deal with?
Oh, yes.
I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I knew that Italy bordered on France, Austria, Yugoslavia, and there's one more. Yeah. But in my mind, because I went to Catholic school,
Okay.
and those nuns were there to teach. You went there, no recess, none of that stuff. So, in my mind, everybody in the world spoke Italian and was a Catholic.
You know, and I think for all kids it would be the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
I would have.
How would you know?
Yeah, I would have felt the same way when I was a kid. I'm sure.
And I was lucky that I ended up in Miss Virginia Dorrance. She had me and another Italian kid, 2 Polish kids, 1 Greek, and 1 18-year-old Czechoslovakian girl. At that time, everybody, didn't make a difference what education you had. I had been to 2nd grade. Everybody went to 1st grade to learn how to speak. And she taught us 1 word at a time. She'd hold up a pencil. You say pencil, 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 pencil.
You know, that's funny. We interviewed a veteran last week, and he was saying he had to learn the Vietnamese language while he was in the Army.
Yeah.
Or in the Marine Corps, I'm sorry. And he said that's how they taught him Vietnamese.
Yeah.
She held up an orange.
Yeah.
And until everyone knew what an orange was, she kept going over it. So, yeah, it's interesting that it's still, I mean, it must have been a very effective way of doing it.
It was. It was. Now, there was another 1st grade teacher that she didn't like foreigners. If he wasn't a WASP, she ignored them.
Yeah.
Not only the foreigners, but whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I didn't end up in hers, because then
You wouldn't have learned anything.
Nothing.
Yeah.
No.
Could have changed everything. Could have changed your whole life's path.
Yeah. And we had a neighbor that had a boy and a girl. And my sister played with the girl. They was about the same age. And she learned from Joyce Ann.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She learned from Joyce Ann and her mother.
That's
So when she went to school, she was just another. But what they did with my sister, they did not only her, but a whole bunch of people. You give your name, and if there's something hard for them to pronounce, well, we're going to call you. Yeah.
give you a nickname.
Yeah. So my sister's name was Domenica Rose.
Okay.
So it translates Sunday. Domenica is Sunday. And the secretary said, kids will make fun of her if we put her as Domenica. How about we call her Rose? And I said, okay. So my sister went through school as Rose, but her first name was Domenica.
Right.
So
Does she still go by Rose? Just kind of wondering, like today? Does she
yeah,
still go?
well, she died in 1980 with cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
So, did you have any other brothers or sisters?
no,
Just her.
just me and her. Yeah,
And your mother, what did your mother do when she got over here?
she just stayed home. She didn't speak any English till I got married,
Oh, wow.
and I married an American girl.
Mm-hmm.
And to talk to her, she picked it up from my sister and from my wife.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
yeah, yeah.
So from there, I mean, how far did you go through school? Did you graduate high school?
No,
No. Okay.
no.
What did you make it to? What point in school did you make it to? How far in school did you go?
To first freshman.
Freshman year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was almost 3 years older than the kids that I was in school with.
Okay.
And I looked like so, and the reason it's still the same. You have to have English to graduate.
Right.
I was kissing a girl in the cloakroom, and the teacher caught me and she threw me out of English class. No English,
No graduation.
no graduation. I figured it's time for me to go.
So did you just go and join the Marines after that?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what did you retired from the Marines, correct?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your Marine history. Like, where were you? What was your highest rank held? Kind of some basic background history, and then we'll kind of get into the weeds of everything.
Okay.
So.
My buddy and I, he had the same problem. He was a year younger than me, but he didn't like school, period. So we decided, hey, we're going to get drafted anyway.
Right.
But we was only 17 yet. So we came here to Stimville, the old post office.
Mm-hmm.
That was the recruiting station.
Okay.
Okay, so we go. He had a brother in the Army that at that time was in Japan, and his other brother was in the Navy. He was offshore.
Okay.
So what are we going to... First, we was going to go join the Navy. All right. We get there, out to lunch. Okay, so there's a big poster, the Army, paratroopers. Hey, let's do that. Okay,
Right.
We go there, out to lunch. So we're sitting at the top of the steps, and here comes this gunny in dress blues. What are you doing, boys? We're going to join the paratroopers. He said, now, what the hell would you want to do that for? He says, go to Marine Corps paratroopers. I said, June, hey, June, I look pretty in that uniform. Let's go. Signed up. Away we go.
So, okay, where'd you go to basic training?
Paris Island.
Paris Island.
Yeah.
Did they have both basic trainings open back then? Did they have two basic trainings open?
Yeah.
They had the one in
One in San Diego,
San Diego
and one in Paris Island. Paris Island is actually an island.
Right.
Back then, it was an island. There was no road. You went from a little town called Yamasee to Port Royal, and then you got on a ferry. You go over to Paris Island.
Okay.
So that's how we got there.
I bet that was an experience.
Oh, yeah.
So, how was basic training? What was basic training like in the Marine Corps?
It was a bitch then.
I'm sure it was.
And we had Staff Sergeant Robbins was the senior drill instructor. Sergeant Burke was assistant, and Corporal Ski was we had three of them.
Right.
And one of them is there all the time. At night, there's one. The rest of the time, you got three of them watching you. And the first thing told us, I am going to run you till you think you're going to die, and then I'm going to run you some more. I don't want, and Sergeant Burke was the one that was, Burke was on at Guadalcanal, Peleliu, and another one. And Robbins was on the battle wagon. And Ski, he was Iwo Jima.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they was all of the same thought. I'll make you spud here so you won't bleed later. We ran the obstacle course every day, including Christmas. Every day. It was a mile from our barracks we ran there, ran the obstacle course, come back.
Oh, wow. That had to be grueling to go through
Yeah.
every single day.
Every day. He just run us to, it was one big hurry.
Right. Well, so with all the run, I know in kind of today's era, it's softened up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, every branch has, and the kids that came in after I did, that when I was an NCO, they were there, and I always said that their basic training was easier than mine, and so we all have that stigma, but I can guarantee you yours was much harder than what mine ever was. But my question, like in our basic trainings, you'll see guys just give up and quit. Was it a different mindset back then? Did anyone get washed out or kicked out? Or
we started with 85.
Okay.
Graduated 53.
What happened to the other guys?
Gone.
Is it because they couldn't hack it, or is it because
some were in our platoon? We had 3 that couldn't read or write.
Okay.
One was from Tennessee. One was from the lower part of West Virginia. Where the hell? Bert was from Kentucky. The one kid from West Virginia was 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
But he's bigger than me. He's about like you. And they had him missing. He was a missing person.
Okay.
Finally, they tracked him down to Paris Island. He had got some girl to sign. His mother had no clue where he was at. So Sergeant Robbins says, what the hell was that? Blake, you're going home. No, sir, I'm not going home. I ain't going home. So I said, you're going home. They slapped him, slapped the shit out of him. When I tell you something, that's what it is. You're going home. You're what do they call it? Fraudulent enlistment.
Right.
We're not liars in the Marine Corps. I'm not, he stood up right there and said, I'm not lying either. I ain't going home. So, you want to stay with me? Yes, sir, I want to stay with you. We'll see. The other kid from Memphis, Tennessee, he was about a month or so short of being 17.
Okay.
He wanted to go home. Robbins says, tried to tell him, well, you're already, we're about halfway through boot camp before all this happened. Tried to talk Bobby into staying, and he, no, I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go home. So they farted around, and next thing he's 17, you're not going nowhere.
Also, at 17, you could legally join back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was 17.
Well, yeah, I didn't know. See, You know, for us, we had to be 18.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or 17 with a parent's
Yeah.
signature. I didn't know that
Yeah.
17 you were good
Yeah.
without a parent's signature back then. So
Yeah.
I just learned something today.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I don't think that would fly.
Not
Not
today.
at all,
No,
no.
no.
I love the different hearing about the different times. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
It's really interesting.
And there was a kid from Chicago that he belonged to some kind of a gang, and he was telling all of us what all he did. Well, that police report caught up with him. He's gone. So some of them were fraudulent enlistment. There was another kid from New Jersey. We went. We had went to the dentist's,
Okay.
and this sailor, the Marine Corps medics are Navy,
Right.
so he checking him out, and he weigh in height and all. He told him, he says, "You're a half inch too short to be in the Marine Corps." And he said, "Oh damn, man, I'm going home."
That's awesome.
We went back then. You got a skinhead,
Yep.
okay? You thinking, son of a bitch, I can't go home looking like this. So he stayed.
That's awesome.
But the rest just couldn't hack it. And we had one that kept pissing the bed.
Really?
Yeah.
I never saw none of my guys in my basic training class. I never saw that.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we all had the same thing. We had
Yeah.
the guys who just couldn't make it. And I mean, this is Air Force PT or Air Force BMT
Yeah.
in 2006. So again, it's much different than Marine
Yeah.
Corps
Yeah.
basic training.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, you have guys who just
Didn't
not
want
cut
to
out
be
for it.
there. And they was going to do everything they could.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and,
it's crazy to hear. I mean,
you could tell the ones that couldn't hack it and the ones that were faking it.
oh, right. And
Yeah.
we could too. We had a guy
Yeah.
he tried to he tried to slit his wrist,
Yeah.
but he scratched
Just
himself.
scratch it. Yeah. Yeah.
So my drill instructor, and this was I mean, obviously now he shouldn't have said it, but he looked at him and said, "Listen," he said, "if you're going to do it, you go down the road, and you go deep." And he said, "I don't want to hear this sissy shit anymore." So he actually made it. He did good in the end, but yeah, he definitely didn't want to be there
Yeah.
at first. So it's funny to hear. I mean, my thing is, in my time, why'd you sign up then?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We weren't getting drafted. My guys, why'd you sign up?
Yeah.
But so after basic training, which how long was basic training for you guys?
12 weeks then.
12 weeks. Is it the same now?
No, it's 14 now.
14? Oh, it's not that big of a difference then.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Before we go on, the 15-year-old, did he end up making it through? Did he stay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
In fact, he ended up being a sergeant. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, he was stronger than an ox. Stronger than an ox. And the other one from lower part of the state, he couldn't read or write.
Right.
He came from a little farm, and time to put hay up, no school.
Right.
When it had to do something, didn't go to school. So I wrote letters for him, Bert, and Campbell.
And I would say that was common back then, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Not being able to read or write, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. My first sergeant was a high school dropout.
Okay. Yeah, and
And
now
he was one hell of a first sergeant.
it shows, especially back then, it shows how
Yeah.
education isn't always
Yeah.
the determining factor of somebody who's going
Yeah,
to be successful. And now it's a pre-qualification to even
Oh,
join.
yeah, you can't get in.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you know or not, but in the officer corps, was it the same way? Like, did they have to have a degree in the officer corps, or how?
Oh, yeah. The
Okay.
officers, he was supposed to.
Okay.
But Marine Corps had a lot, they call them Mustangs. like a field commission.
Okay.
They could go up to captain, couldn't go above captain. But they was some damn good officers.
Usually prior enlisted are. I mean,
Yeah.
that was always my experience with officers.
Yeah.
If they used to be enlisted, then they were always good officers.
Yeah.
So, so what was your job in the Marine Corps once you got out of basic? What'd you do?
When we didn't get a boot leave.
Okay.
Normally, right out of boot camp, you got, what was it, 10 days, I think? Yeah, 10 days.
Something like that, yeah.
And us, 1st Division, was rebuilding. We went straight from boot camp to Camp Pendleton, California for the 1st Division. So we get there, and First Sergeant, I need a clerk typist.
Okay.
Nobody says nothing. I need a clerk typist. About 3 or 4 times. Nobody says nothing. Well, I had a neighbor that wanted to be like a secretary for like a president or
Oh, okay, yeah.
an executive.
Executive assistant.
Yeah. So she was a whiz. She took shorthand, typing, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch her, man, her finger just fly. I said, "Hey, Lorraine, can I do that?" And, yeah, when I'm done. So I'm a hunting pecker.
Yeah.
2 finger.
Mm-hmm.
So about the 4th time, the top said, "I need a clerk typist." I said, I'm not a typist. I can hunt and peck. He didn't want to hear that shit. You're our company clerk.
Wow.
Okay. So now in the morning, I'm a private.
Right.
Right out of boot camp. I'm taking the roll, the whole smear. I'm in charge. When he comes, he'd want to see, because you have to send in a morning report to the mess hall, how many people you're going to feed, and all of this. And our CO was a warrant officer. They were short of officers. So our CO was a warrant officer. He asked me, he said, "Do you know the Alsdran filing system?" And I thought, what the hell?
Yeah, I've never heard of this, so.
Yeah. Well, the Alsdran system is basically how you file paperwork.
Okay.
So it has to be. And in the Marine Corps, you got memos, you got bulletins, you got LMARs, they're all supposed to be filed accordingly.
Okay.
And back then, if you typed the on the blue mimeograph machine, and then you crank it, make copies.
I've never heard of one of those.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's what we had.
That's
And payroll had to be right on the money. One little smudge, and they kicked it out.
oh wow.
Yeah. So I used to do payroll after lights out, so nobody bother me. Because, I'm trying to type this damn thing,
Right.
and if I screw up, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
Then you want to beat my head. So I
Well,
keep trying to tell the guy, when I'm working on a damn payroll, don't bother me.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Yeah. So,
There's no backspace like there is now.
huh?
I said there's no backspace. It's
no,
not.
the old Remington
Yeah, when you mess up, you start over, right?
You start over.
That's
Yeah.
ooh.
Especially on the payroll,
Yeah, I'm sure.
because then they paid in cash.
Okay,
Yeah, you didn't get a check.
right.
Paid in cash.
Well, that was the whole system back then. It was all cash for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't really definitely didn't have a debit card.
No, no,
debit
no.
cards back
There wasn't
then.
no such thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Not even thought of.
No.
So, okay. Well, okay. So you've been now you've gone across the United States. I did want to ask, how did you get from Paris Island over to into California?
Train.
By train.
Okay.
Okay.
Every shorter hops you'd go by bus. Long you went by train.
Well,
And it took us 4 damn days to get there.
that's what I was trying to get. That was kind of what I was getting at. Again, I'm trying to point out some of the obvious differences between when you were in it.
This
today.
was a troop train. Well, it had civilians on it too,
Okay.
but basically it was a troop train. So you don't count as far as the railroad is concerned.
Right.
If there's a freight train that had to go, you pull off and the freight train goes. We got to Amarillo, Texas, and we had to wait. So people were looking at us. They thought we was Canadians. They had never seen a green uniform.
Oh, okay.
That's all our Army areas down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they thought we was Canadians.
That's crazy. I never.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Took us 4 days to get there.
Yeah, and I'm thinking. So again, I mean, comparison, and I know that when hopefully I make it to your age one day, and I'm sitting down talking to some kid like you are to me, and I'm like, oh, we flew a plane, and they're like, well, we just tell them, well, however they travel. I hope that the differences are as interesting as they are now, because yeah, we would just fly.
Yeah.
I mean, your 4-day trip takes me 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's an amazing thing. So
Yeah, we're going through Texas, okay?
okay,
We asked the conductor, where are we at? Texas. Okay. Next morning, where are we at? Texas. God damn, I thought Texas big, but I didn't think it was that big.
yeah, huge state.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we go to basic training. So, okay, so now you've done San Diego, or you've done California, you've done South Carolina. Where else did you go?
After this first sergeant, Morris V. Crosby, was from Oklahoma. He was a Dust Bowl child.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in 1937, they're leaving Oklahoma because of the farm's gone.
Right.
So they're going to California, and he joined the Marine Corps in 1937. So he was an odd. He was one hell of a Marine, or he was the first sergeant. He had been on Peleliu, 3 of the biggest battles, and he was all business, but he was also prejudiced.
Okay.
The only good Indian is a dead Indian. And he'd celebrate. We had a couple of Indians. Mexicans were spicks or wetbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't like them. Didn't like Jews. Didn't like me. Because when he found out I was, where y'all from? I told him, West Virginia. Was you born there? No, I wasn't born there. I was born in Italy. He says, I ain't never seen me one of them.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
You one of them Dagos, huh? I said, yes, if you say so. But he was just, I couldn't figure that out, how he could think that way. You know?
Right.
And he made it obvious as hell that we had 3 or 4 Indian guys. And to him, an Indian was not human.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah,
It
because
really is.
their area, most of them were drunks.
Right.
They had an alcohol problem,
Mm-hmm.
and the one we had, one of them was a drunk.
Right.
So he wasn't very good role model. So where our barracks was, about 3 or 4 barracks up the road, recon was there.
Okay.
And 4 o'clock in the morning, they're going on their run,
Right.
doing their singing song. So I don't like this damn pinky job. I didn't come and rank quarter-pound typewriter.
Right.
So one morning, I was talking to one of the recon guys, and normally they don't talk to the rest of the troops.
Right.
Recon, and they don't associate with them.
Kind of like special operations.
Going to chow, they ran to chow. They ran wherever they were going. They ran.
Okay.
And then in the morning, they go by our barracks screaming and yelling. Wake me up anyway. Says, hey, how can I get into your outfit? He looks me up and down like, you ain't shit. He says, you have to come see our first sergeant. Okay. So I sneak over to see their first sergeant, and he was a nutcase. Sergeant Schultz he was German for one thing. U.S. German, not
Right.
German. And he was a screaming nut. He says, you want to do what? I want to come to recon. And what the hell makes you think you're good enough? I don't know, but I want to. And he says, okay. Moresby, your first sergeant? I said, yep. He says, if Moresby lets you go, I'll give you a chance. If you make it, you make it. If you don't, you're going back to Moresby. Okay. So I go tell my first sergeant.
Right.
Sergeant Morris, I want to go recon. He says, you want to do what? I want to go recon. Now, why the hell would you want to do that? God damn you, you're just now getting to the point where you know what you're doing. I'm going to make you a corporal here in a little bit. I don't care. I want to go recon.
Yeah.
He says, Arlia, he didn't call him, he couldn't see it. He screwed up everybody's name. He called me Arlie.
Okay.
Okay. He said, I knew you were a dumbass, but I didn't think you were stupid. Get your ass out of here. So I went to recon.
So you're Force Recon Marine. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, what did that entail back then?
Same thing as what the SEALs do.
Okay.
Basically, we're the same. And that pisses me off to see these SEALs doing what they're doing. They're not supposed to even talk about what they do.
Yeah, I know. They were called the silent professionals.
And they're making money off of stupid shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, they were supposed to be the silent professionals for a reason.
Yeah.
So,
Out of sight, out of mind.
right.
Well, what recon ours, back then we were broke down into 5-man teams, 7-man teams, 9-man teams, and the bigger, you might, every now and then we'd work as a platoon. So Sergeant Schultz says, I need a demolition man. I said, okay. I had no clue what the hell he was talking about. So he says, you're going to school. So I went to mines and demolition. And then you had to train the rest of the team. I had the trigger and I had the caps. I had to show how the hookups up, but I had to figure how much explosives to use, where to place them. In the movie, you see them throwing.
Yeah.
You place it, you don't throw it. So that's we ended up there, and then we did a lot of every day we did if we swam, you swim a mile, run 3.
Okay.
If you swim 2 miles, you run 2 miles every day. Every day.
Yeah, but swimming 2 miles is you might as well have ran 3 miles.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, swimming's a lot harder than it's fun to go out there and swim.
You're using every damn muscle.
But when you're doing it as a workout, yeah, it's
But
hard work.
As you do it every day, and we ran everywhere we went.
Right.
We didn't associate with the other guys. We ate by ourselves. We ate in the same mess hall, but we ate
right
as a group.
Mm-hmm.
The regular troops, you march to chow, and then you straggle back to your unit. We ran to and ran back. Which is, you get done chow, you wait for everybody to come, and off we go.
Right. So my question about the Force Recon Marines would be, especially during that time frame, so you switch over from being a clerk, and you become a Force Recon. Today you would have to go through a selection process.
Yeah.
You'd have to go through a very long.
Yeah, jump through. It's the same.
Okay.
It just progressed.
Okay.
Back then, it was more how much endurance do you have?
Okay.
And Sergeant Schultz, he must have been in his 30s when we ran as a unit, as a company.
Mm-hmm.
We're running down the road. He's circling us.
Oh, wow.
I'm thinking, I thought I was a stud.
Right.
I ain't nothing.
And the man's literally running circles around you. And you guys aren't going at some slow pace. You guys are running.
We're running.
Yeah, we're not. It's not a jog through
It's
the
180,
through the
baby.
woods.
You're humping down the road,
Right.
and he's running
still circling.
around us.
While moving forward.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Everybody loved him.
Right.
But everybody thought, this guy's crazy.
And he was. I'm sure he was.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And our lieutenant's the same thing.
Wow.
Yeah. We had a Lieutenant Henry that son of a gun. He wasn't very big, but he was tough as nails.
Yeah, I don't do much running. I never. I was always a little bit bigger, a little stouter.
Yeah.
Running for me would not. Yeah, I don't think I would make it doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've gone to Force Recon. Did you do any deployments? What?
Then, back then, the Marine Corps was on its ass. The Army was trying to eliminate us.
Okay.
And General Vandergrift was commanding General Marine Corps.
Okay.
And he was busting his ass trying to keep the Marine Corps. Because the Army, the war's over. We don't need them no more.
That hasn't changed.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed at all.
No. Yeah.
And now we have all 4 branches. We keep all the branches of service.
Yeah.
But they're all, every time the war is over, they try to cut us down big time.
Yeah, big time.
So-
Well, that's what happened to the Marine Corps. the Marine Corps had 6 divisions.
Okay.
Okay. As soon as the war's over, we had 2.
Okay.
And they was bare bones. That's why we
Right.
went from boot camp to Pendleton. We was all, they was either all World War II ready to get out,
Right.
and the ones that were like Morris V was going to stay. You had few first sergeants, sergeant majors that was staying,
Right.
and few staff sergeants. Few. We had one master sergeant that he was at Nicaragua.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
was he doing down there?
Huh?
What was he doing down there?
1928. He was in the Marine Corps in 1928. So he could have got out any time he wanted to.
Right. Right.
But they were still hanging in.
Gotta have those kind of dedicated people to do that.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. So, in boot camp, when at first, every one of us was thinking, this son of a bitch is crazy.
Right.
Because especially Sergeant Burke, he'd knock you sillier than hell with his fist, not with,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it was accepted. It was acceptable back then.
As part of when we went from Cleveland to Washington D.C.
Okay.
Got on a train D.C. down to Yamasee.
Okay.
All right. We get to Yamasee, train stops. Me and Junior get off. We're walking alongside the train, and here's this master sergeant. That son of a bitch looked like he was 7 foot tall, screaming his head off. You're late. You're late. And I'm not late. The train may be late, but not me.
Right.
I'm on the train. Anybody here knocked me flatter than a pancake. I was like, oh shit, that's just like my mother.
Welcome to the Marines.
Yeah, welcome home.
That's awesome. Okay, so you missed World War II, right?
Yeah, just missed it.
Right. Not that anything against you on that. I mean, it's time frame. There's nothing you could do. But you were in. How long were you in for?
3 years, my initial enlistment, and
Okay.
I wanted to stay,
Okay.
but I got hooked up with my wife, and I thought, what did I do?
It's hard.
Love got in the way,
Yeah, it does. I mean,
and
very similar.
And I wanted to. I was always thinking, did I do the right thing? Did I? Either way. And then in 1953, they started a reserve unit here in Stumville
Okay.
on Cherry and Pickle Street.
Okay.
They had a Navy and Marine Corps unit. So the guy that recruited us was still here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we were having a League meeting, Marine Corps League meeting.
Okay.
He's at the meeting. He says, hey, hi, all that stuff. He says, hey, they're starting a unit here. Why don't you go check it out? So I went up. In 1953 to 80, I was in reserve.
Okay. What'd you do in the reserves?
Everything. We were, first we was a rifle company.
Okay.
Okay. Then as we go along, it was all high school kids. Kids were still in high school
Right.
and belonged to the reserve unit. So we had Sergeant Green from Mingo. He was the fire chief in Mingo. Finkowski he worked in mill, and me. So I was the drill instructor for all the units.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now you spent time as a drill instructor. What was that like?
I tried to beat Sergeant Burke.
Okay. Which, I mean, I think I'd have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all these, basically, they're all high school kids.
Right.
And they called me the Crazy Dago.
Was it true?
Yeah.
Okay. At least they weren't mischaracterizing you.
No. Later on, because there was about 3 or 4 of them that had got up to sergeant,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to get out. And this was Charlie Green. You know Charlie Green?
I may. I'm not sure. I'd have to see his face.
I tried my damnedest to get him to stay.
Okay.
But he was one hell of a trooper. No, I'm getting out. I'm getting out. So now I see him. He says, "You know what? I should have listened to you back then. Just, I'd have got a pension and a whole smear, but
you can't. Hindsight's 20/20. You can't force people into doing anything.
yeah.
So we got Force Recon. We got Demolition School. Was
Yeah.
Demolition School fun?
It was hard
Okay,
because
what made it hard?
you had so damn much to learn, and I'm a high school dropout. Okay,
Right.
math was not my.
I can understand.
You have to do trig to figure out how much and what to use.
Okay.
Okay, and then we also had the tripwires and all of that stuff. So the school was run by old vets, and you do it over.
So that's something that's really similar. A lot of times for us, I noticed like when I went through tech, we call it tech school. I think you guys probably called it AIT or something when you did your initial training. When we go through tech school, though, we get a lot of veterans there who are teaching, who come back and they come to the schoolhouse and they teach how to do whatever your job is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those guys have seen it. They've done it.
Yeah.
I mean, and they've, instead of just retiring and leaving it, I know that a lot of veterans want to give back to the military itself.
At that school, there was no quitting time.
No, I'm sure not.
No, there wasn't no quitting time. If you're like doing the wiring part of it,
Mm-hmm.
if you're using dead cord or whether you're using wire, the wiring had to be just so.
Right.
Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Well, and I would think it'd be important to be kind of
And
spot on.
they'd set up trip wires and stuff, and you're on your hands and knees trying to dig a mine out.
Oh, so you were doing so demolitions also included like disposing of the munitions as well?
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's a whole separate career. I don't know if you knew that. You probably did, but it's a whole career field now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
EOD,
Yeah.
explosive ordnance disposal is a
Yeah.
whole.
Yeah.
So you had to learn the whole gamut.
The whole, how to lay it out, a minefield,
Mm-hmm.
how to take it up. Yeah, minefields are laid in a pattern that wherever you step, you're going to hit one.
Okay.
They're just,
Everywhere.
but you have to draw it out. You have to make a drawing of it and file it, so if you have to remove it,
You know where you put the mines.
you know where you put the mines. Right?
Wow. Now with mines, and I'm no explosive expert by any means, but with mines, when one trips, do other ones near it trip?
If yeah, because they're only about that far apart.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
they
if,
could.
if one goes, the concussion can trip the other one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could start a chain reaction.
Yeah,
That's a pretty dangerous
Ooh,
line
yeah.
of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so now we've got, like I
And
said,
then you had to learn the different types of explosives, how they work, because they're not all the same.
right.
How they're tripped. So if you have to disarm one, you know what the hell to do. Which wires are.
What
There's
wire's
a
doing
lot.
what?
There's right.
That'd be stressful too, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, because they had in the class they'd trip one, and you had to have something like this on. What they were is like a flashbang.
Okay.
Yeah.
They let you know that you
You're
did
trying.
something.
You're trying probing this, and that he trips one over there. Boom! You just scared the shit out of him. Did I do that?
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
wow. That would be a stressful training session.
It is.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
couldn't. That'd be.
You start monkeying around with stuff like that, you better know what you're doing,
Well, yeah.
because you'll trip it.
Yeah, then you're missing some digits or a whole appendage or your
You know, one
life.
time this was with this reserve unit. Where the hell did we go? Up here in Ohio, what's the NRA rifle range they got up?
I don't know. I can't think of it either.
What the hell is it? Not Fort Cherry. Anyhow,
Yeah.
that's where we went to fire. We called them the bazookas. The rocket.
Yeah. Was it a law or was it a? Are they
No,
different?
no. This
Law's different.
the tube was about that big around
Okay.
and 6 foot long.
Okay.
You load it from the rear,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got like a little magneto that creates the spark.
Okay.
All right, so you're putting the round in, and you got to twist it on the inside. There's a brass or a copper band, and on the round itself, they match up.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so when you pull the trigger, boom, that's what sets it off. Okay, this kid fires nothing. Do it again. Fires nothing. I got to take it out because
Right.
I'm the instructor. And they start to back out. The kid next fires. Boom! Son of a bitch. I don't know if I got a hand or not.
I bet you wanted to kill that kid, didn't
Oh,
you?
man.
I'm sure you did. Oh man.
You know, you get silly stuff like that, but
Well, it's silly that once you know what's happening, once you kind of get your bearings, it's not as big of a deal. Yeah, you're mad,
yeah.
but in the same like, at least you can look back, laugh on it, and you know you got all 10. So-
We went to that same shooting range. Damn, I can't think of what the name of that place is. It's still there. About this time of the year, we're going up there because they're going to let us use the range for qualifying,
Okay.
rifle qualifying.
Right.
Okay, starts not a rain and not a sleet.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're laying there. We froze to the ground.
Really?
We froze to the ground.
Oh, that's awful.
Hey.
That's awful.
You can't get up.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So you're all stuck down there, literally frozen on the ground,
Frozen
trying
on
to
the
shoot.
ground.
What kind of rifles were you using back then?
M1s.
M1A1s?
Yeah.
Or no,
Yeah.
M1, just M1s. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And what year was this? Roundabout, just so I have an idea of kind of timeline.
Maybe 54, somewhere on there.
Okay.
That's when we first had the unit formed and ready to go.
Right.
We were designated as a priority unit.
Okay.
Okay, so this was before NOM.
Right.
And we got a major as a CO.
Okay.
Regular Marine Corps. They had what they called the I&I, instructor and inspector. In charge, the regular Marines,
Right.
and then the reserves would meet one time a month.
Okay.
So here comes Major Heron. He's all charged up and gung ho. He's gonna make this priority unit, and he was pushing, trying to get us into everything possible.
Right.
So we ended up going to jungle warfare school in Panama.
Okay.
We went to another school in Puerto Rico. We went to Alaska. We went to Minnesota, Camp Ripley, right out of Minneapolis.
Okay.
It was just as cold there as it was in Alaska.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard it's free. It's just gets bitter cold.
We went there for skiing,
Okay.
and then we'd go down Camp Dawson to fire.
But when you learned to ski there, that wasn't like a pleasure. That wasn't like a downhill skiing trip that you do.
No. You were there to learn how to ski,
Right.
and how to snowshoe,
Okay.
and like cross country ski.
Right.
You can go uphill with skis on.
Oh, I'm sure it's not easy though.
No, these muscles here,
Mm-hmm.
because you go up, you plant your foot, and then
Oh, you sidestep it all the way up.
yeah.
Oh man, that would be awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful.
Yeah.
So, you've been through. You were in during the Korean conflict, right?
Huh?
What conflicts were you in during?
None. I didn't.
There was no conflict
No.
at all.
No. When Korea kicked off, okay, Korea kicked off June of 50.
Right.
I had got out in November of 49.
Okay.
I've been married, 6 months? So when it kicked off, I called my old CO at Recon.
Okay.
He was a warrant officer.
Right.
I said, hey, Gunner, I want to come back. He says, come on. Got a hole for you. So I come back here to the recruiting,
Right.
and he says, no, you got to go to Camp Lejeune. I don't want to go to Camp Lejeune. I want to go to my unit.
Right.
No, you can't do that. And so I got her back. Hey, they're giving me this silliness. And he says, you just got married, right? Yep. He says, he gave me the same story. I knew you was a dumbass, but I didn't think you would be stupid. He says, I'd love to have you back, but if they don't send you here, directly here, I can cut you orders. Don't go.
Okay.
So I come back and tell that it was a different recruiter.
Right.
And in the meantime, I was confabbing with a kid from New York. We went to boot camp together.
Okay.
And another buddy of mine that he was at Marinol Seminary. He's going to be a priest
Okay.
in Baltimore.
Right.
Okay. So they snatched him because he had signed up for the reserve when we got out.
Right.
Capozzi, the kid from New York, and I were getting out the same day. And I was ready to sign for a reserve unit because at the time there was a reserve unit in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
They was an MP company, and they got called. So, but I didn't have a car and nothing. So Capozzi says, "Hey, dumbass, don't sign that." I said, "Why not?" "I'm telling you, don't sign that." I said, "Okay." So I didn't sign up, but Bobby did. Here they snatch him out of
Seminary.
the seminary. He goes down to Camp Lejeune. Well, they're getting all this influx of people that are snatching back.
Yeah.
And no place really to put him. So they got him on mess duty. They were just picking up cigarette butts and not forming a company or nothing. They were just sitting there twiddling their thumbs.
Yeah.
And he called me. He says, "Hey, don't get no silly ideas about coming back." He says, "I'm here," and he told me some other guys that we both knew were there. He says, I'm thinking about cutting my finger off to get the hell out of here."
Oh my gosh.
I said,
Wow.
"Bobby, are you crazy?"
That bad, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like that does sound very military.
You know, same thing happened when the missile business,
Cuban Missile Crisis.
yeah,
Yeah.
they sent a bunch of Army people to Fort Polk that had been shut down.
Okay.
They weren't ready. They didn't have a cadre. They didn't have. So people are sitting there.
It sounds like something the military would do.
Yeah.
Let's call everybody here. Let's shut everything down because nothing's going on, and then we'll stand everything back up, and then everyone will be hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
For
You don't have
days.
You don't have the people to run it.
Right.
So from that, the politicians learned for every trooper you snatched up, you're going to lose 4 votes.
Oh. Yeah, their family.
Yeah.
Their family's done. That's true.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah. Because when Major Herron, when Vietnam kicked in, us being, because we had cold weather training, we had amphib training, we had
Jungle warfare training.
cold weather, jungle warfare, the whole the special forces were the instructors
Okay.
for jungle warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name should still be there. They had a obstacle course. There was an obstacle course of a mother.
Okay.
And I was 49 years old, and I've run that bitch in record time.
Really?
Yeah,
Still kicking ass.
yeah. And then your name went on the board there.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you did mention something when we were filling the paperwork out earlier about the presidential citation.
Yeah.
What did you do to get that?
I didn't do a damn thing. But
Oh, that's where you get an
yeah,
award.
I'm considered a World War II vet because the date went to December 47 or 46.
I don't know. The
One
dates
or
off top
the
of my
other.
head. Yeah.
So if you were in at that time, the first division got presidential unit citation
Okay.
for Guadalcanal.
Okay.
And as soon as you come to, I have that damn thing someplace signed by President Truman.
Okay.
I have the PUC from for First Division.
That's super cool though.
Yeah,
Yeah, not many guys can say that.
yeah, yeah,
So, and you retired, didn't you,
yeah,
from the military?
yeah.
Or from the Marine Corps? What was your highest rank?
Master Gunnery Sergeant.
Master Gunnery Sergeant. Okay.
Yeah,
And how many years total did you end up putting in? You said
31 and a half.
31 and a half. That's a long part of your life.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna go back to some of the questions here that they had. One of the things I want to know about the end of your service. It says, "Do you recall the day that your service ended? When and where did your service end?" So, tell me about the last day of service. Anything you can recall.
I really didn't want to get out.
Okay.
Really did not want to come. But saying goodbye to old Morrissey, we both had tears.
I'm sure.
Sergeant Solch was gone by then, but I went back to see old Morris V still hanging on. He went in 37 and 49. Damn, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And old Morris was still there.
So it was
Still called me Arlie.
So hard time then, huh? Difficult.
Yeah, yeah. And a couple of the guys that one thing that in early 48, President Truman said we're going to integrate the blacks.
Okay.
We had a few, but they were all in jackass jobs, like in engineering or all the ass-busting jobs.
Right.
No
desk job.
No,
Nothing that was going to be
No.
something you would enjoy doing.
No. Some of them were truck drivers.
That's not a bad job.
No, but anyway, in 1948, Truman said, we're going to integrate the services. So the Marine Corps had a boot camp in North Carolina for the blacks. They didn't go to Parris Island.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were, what the hell was it? Oh, shit, I can't think of the name of their boot camp, but it was in North Carolina. And they had white drill instructors.
I was just going to ask that.
White drill instructors, white officers.
But all the units were black.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they screwed all over them. So they started trickling at first just 2 or 3 per company. Every
Right.
company got a couple, 2 or 3. So I was still with Morris V at the time. We got the memorandum. This will be done.
Right.
Everybody's gonna get so many people.
Right.
Okay. So we got 2. We got 2. So happens, one is assigned bunk next to me.
Mm-hmm.
Nice kid. Find out he's from White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So,
Nobody in the company is talking to him. Nobody.
right.
And what happened, I was making uh, payroll,
Right.
2 o'clock in the morning. Morris V had been to a club meeting of first sergeants and comes by this barracks and sees the lights on in our office. He comes in. The door goes wham. What the hell are you doing?
Right.
I'm making payroll, Top. Well, why are you doing it now? I said, somebody comes in and bothers me. I just don't want to screw it up. He says, Arlie, I don't know about you. And out the door he goes. From then, we're buddy-buddy. So I could talk to him, you know. I could ask him, I don't care what it was. Hey, Top, how do I do this? You dumbass. I know I'm a dumbass, but show me what to do.
Yeah, I still got to do my job.
Yeah. Because sometimes I'd have to hand deliver some paperwork
Right.
up to division.
Mhm.
Okay. You go up to division, you better be squared away because somebody's going to grab your ass. And he'd say, Arlie, here, goes up to division, whoever, S1, S2. So I got to the point where we could bullshit each other a little
Right.
bit. And this Walker, one from West Virginia, right next to me, nobody would talk to him. I did.
Right.
Hey.
But yeah, you experienced the little discrimination when you
Yeah.
first got in there, from what you were saying earlier.
So I says, he's from West Virginia. Well, what the hell does that mean? I said, stop. What's Semper Fi mean to you? And he gives me one of these looks and turns around and walks away. And maybe I got to him a little bit, you know?
Right.
And he'd come in and say something about that Indian kid we had. That son of a bitch should be a dead. No, Top, he belongs to us.
Yeah, we're all Marines.
He belongs to us.
Well, you guys were. I'm not a Marine, but yeah, right.
Yeah. Just, I could not believe what he.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
It was, but that was the time back. I mean, and I'm not justifying it.
Yeah, no.
By any means.
No.
That was commonplace back
well,
then.
Here's something this. West Virginia, we didn't go to school with colored kids.
Right.
Okay. And the grade school in Weirton was on County Road on Avenue D. Yeah. The colored grade school was on G, about 2 blocks, two or three blocks, way up on a hill.
Okay.
So we had one colored kid that lived up about half a mile from me.
Right.
I lived out Kings Creek.
Okay, I know that area. Yeah.
Okay. So Charlie and I were, his mother could have passed for white. His dad was like this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he was dark.
Okay.
But nice kid.
Yeah.
So Charlie was supposed to ride our bus, our school bus. By this time, I went on to the junior police at school. We used to, because County Road, we had a flag that you stop traffic, let the kids cross the street.
Mm-hmm.
And right across the street was a Polish school run by the nuns.
Okay.
We were not allowed to talk to them.
Really?
Yeah. We were heathens. They're Catholic.
Well, you guys were Catholic though.
Yeah. But that's a Catholic school.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's a Catholic school. We're grade school. We're
Okay.
public school. Yeah.
That's so and that's
Yeah. Because
wow.
the there was one Italian kid. He was probably in the 6th grade, and I was still in the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of looking out for me. But some of them kids just tripped me, kicked me. I had a lot of bloody noses and.
Well, here's the crazy thing, because we're now there's a lot. It's predominantly Italian.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole area really is predominantly Italian here.
Yeah.
The Steubenville, the tri-state area.
Yeah,
You know, Ohio, Pennsylvania,
but
West Virginia.
Back then,
That's
yeah.
What was it, Irish back then? I mean, I don't know who would have been the Polish and the Irish. Was that who was mainly?
No, the Polish were in the same boat as me.
Okay.
The Greek kid, the foreigners, the ones that couldn't speak, we took a pounding.
Oh no, right. But I was wondering who was the main group. Like I said, now it's Italian.
The WASPs.
Well, who are those?
White Anglo-Saxon.
Oh, white
English.
Anglo-Saxon Protestant. Okay,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's so
were trash.
and
we
that's
were
so
trash.
wrong. I mean, today if
And
you
and especially us farm kids,
right,
we'd go to school and cover our overalls,
Bibs, yeah.
bib overalls,
mm-hmm.
and a blue shirt. Oh.
Yeah, you had to work before you came to school.
Yeah, I had to milk the cow.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, everyone had and
yeah,
it's awful.
yeah.
I can't stand personally. I can't stand it.
With Charlie, he'd run like a bitch from his school to get on a bus with us,
Okay.
which was about 3 blocks somewhere. And the bus driver, we'd all the public school kids are on the bus. Okay, I'm the Jewish police, so I'm the last on the bus
Okay.
because I'm every stop I get out and stop traffic. They didn't even have flashing lights on the buses then.
Right.
So I'd tell the bus driver, Charlie's coming.
Okay.
That son of a bitch would say, get on the bus. Take off. Charlie'd running his ass off trying to catch.
That's awful.
And he off of one of the islands, his ship got blowed up, and he ended up in the water with burning oil. He burned to death.
Yeah, that's horrible.
You know, so even then I was 12 years old, 11, somewhere around there.
Right.
I could figure something ain't right here.
No,
Something ain't right.
not at all.
But you still have that today.
Yeah, there it's still yeah.
You still have that today.
It's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
you know, I don't notice it. From my experience, I was talking to a gentleman earlier about this. I don't notice it in the military.
No.
We all seem to work together very well.
Once the black guys started coming,
Yeah.
okay, now you got maybe half a dozen per company.
Right.
So when they first started coming, they made a black company
Mm-hmm.
and put Lieutenant Henry, a white officer. He was a second lieutenant in charge of that company. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. We're supposed to be integrated,
Right.
and why are they? And a lot of some of the sergeants, especially some of the lieutenants, were jazzing Lieutenant Henry. Hey, Henry, you're getting a little dark. So Henry, and he was a hell of an officer, he got those black guys, made a drill team. And those guys could snap, crackle, and pop. And he'd march them. He marched them
Right.
to the mess hall. And he'd put on a show at the mess hall.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And everybody's thinking, son of a bitch, I could do that.
They probably wanted to do it after seeing it, you know?
Yeah.
They were probably.
Yeah.
It's good when you have good officers who lead by example and don't let the BS really get under their skin.
Yeah.
So my next question would be for you is, do you still keep in touch with any of the guys you were in the Corps with?
The what?
Is there anybody left that you keep in touch with from the Corps?
Bobby Keys died here a couple of years, but I still contact his wife.
Okay, well, that's awesome.
Yeah. And Sherbin, Capozzi, I can't locate him. I can't locate Bobby Atkins. He was from Memphis, Tennessee. I've tried. I don't do computers, but
right.
my niece and her boyfriend has tried, and I got another. I named my son after Bobby Keys and Chuck Sherbin.
Really?
Yes. That's how tight we were.
That's great.
Yeah.
It is a brotherhood.
Sherbin, he got out and he was in Korea.
Okay.
He was at the reservoir.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And after he got out, he went on a GI Bill. He went to a college in Indiana. What the heck? Anyway, he became an engineer. And I was here in Norton coming home from work, and remember where Rudy Cusick's gas station used to be right there?
Yeah.
Okay. I lived up on Grant Street.
Okay.
So I'm walking up there. There's a Marine Corps tractor trailer parked behind the. What the hell is that? So I go home, open the door, and there's Chuck Sherbin. He was driving that truck. They was forming a company in Akron.
Okay.
And he had rifles and machine guns and mortars, a load of. He damn near lost it coming down Cove Hill.
Right.
The old Cove Hill.
Yeah. Yep.
He says, when he started at the top, the little grade, he didn't get in the low enough gear. Damn near lost it.
That'd have been tragic.
Oh, yeah.
That'd
Oh,
have been
boy.
bad.
They'd be asking silly ass questions. Why are you there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's there to come see me.
Well, if for anybody who does watch this, Cove Road in the Appalachian area, we are in the the upper portions of the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah.
And it is when you come up on a turn and it says go 30, you better want to be going 30.
Right.
Yeah. It's not something that you mess around with. Our roads are pretty rough out here.
Yeah. Once they got going down, he said, oh shit.
Oh yeah. I'm sure. I know. I've been in that situation a couple times.
Yeah.
Not a tractor trailer. I mean, just a regular old truck.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
pucker factor goes up real quick.
Yeah.
Did you by chance use your GI Bill? Did you use your GI Bill?
Yeah. Dumbass, I didn't.
Oh, well, what'd you do after the Marines?
I went to work in mill.
In the mill? Okay. Which is common around here.
Huh?
I said that's
Yeah.
really common.
You know, back then, you get out of high school one day, you could go to
Right.
work and still had a shovel or pick to pitch fans.
Yeah, this place actually, this area, from what I was taught when I got out, I went to college for a little bit.
Yeah.
One of the things I learned was that this area had the highest paying jobs per capita in the United States.
Yeah.
And I mean, now if you come here now, you would never know that was the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, this area, this little tri-state area,
Yeah.
had a lot of money. And
Well,
everyone had a job.
the dumbass again. I was working on the Pennsylvania Railroad when I was 15.
Okay.
Okay, so I was making 45 cents an hour. When I got 16, I went in the mill.
Okay.
64 cents an hour. Whoopee. So I'm thinking, wait a minute, I'm making as much as my teacher.
Yeah. And it's
And I'm looking at dollar bills instead of education. And if I hadn't got tangled up with Joe Palmer, I probably would have stayed.
You know what though? I think that's a common thing. I mean,
Yeah.
That time frame, education wasn't as important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not only that, for young men in general, I mean, even now, education isn't seen as important as for like the younger ladies. It's go find a job. You know, I joined out of high school. I got out of high school. I did a semester in college, and I said, I'm done. I quit. This isn't for me. And I joined the Air Force right after, like a month after. So, on that topic, on, you know, calling ourselves dumbasses a little bit, what advice would you give a kid who's coming out of high school?
Get yourself educated, and I'm more inclined like the JVS.
I love the JVS.
JVS.
Yep.
Go to JVS. There's a kid up here that graduated in the welding class.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his own business.
I'm sure.
He's got his own business.
18, 19 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's direct skills.
Carpenter, you electrical, plumbing, they get it all.
Auto mechanics.
Yeah.
That's what I took. And for those of you who don't know, JVS is a vocational. It's called the Joint Vocational School, and we have one here. Most places do have a vocational high school.
Yeah.
You go to school, regular school,
like
and learn a trade.
College is not for everybody.
No.
Just, I would have liked to have gone to college and for a teaching job.
Well, you did get to do some teaching as a drill instructor, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Maybe not the kind of teaching you were thinking about, but you did get to do some of it. So.
Yeah.
And then my final question would be, what would you tell somebody, a young kid, who's thinking about joining the military today?
I would steer him towards the Air Force.
Okay. Why's that?
More education.
There's a lot of education in the Air Force.
Yeah, you're gonna learn something.
Right.
Any jackass can pull the trigger.
Is there anything you tell them to train for, or anything that you would tell them? I mean, to prepare.
Yeah, I love the Corps, but what are you going to get out of it? Okay.
Yeah.
I recon. Whoa.
Yeah.
All it did is screw me up. You beat your body to death.
Right.
And we had this loppy kid from Mingo.
Mm-hmm.
I tried my damnedest. Well, he wanted to go to the Marine Corps. Go to the Marine Corps. I said, okay, that's fine. But what do you want to do?
Right.
Either get into MPs that you can go from there onto some police department.
Mm-hmm.
Get some kind of a trade.
Right.
Go engineering school. Run a grader, bulldozer, whatever.
Right.
You're learning something. no, I want to go recon. I said, what? Do you know what recon's all about? You're just going to beat your body to death because me Tarzan.
It's the truth.
That's, yeah, I screwed up my back. I was in recon for about a year. We were doing rubber boat training.
Okay.
And you either get dropped off from a sub or a boat, okay, a rubber boat.
Right.
You swim in, do your thing, and then you get picked up, and you get it's called a stick. You line up like a log.
Okay.
Okay, just spread. And they come by with a rubber boat, and all it is like a inner tube from a
Car tire.
motorcycle.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The sailor's doing this now.
Right.
You have a coxswain and a guy that holds the tube like this.
Right.
They come fly by, and you hold your hand up like this, and the motion of that picks you up between the speed and him giving you a little. You end up in the boat,
Okay.
moving.
Right.
This goddamn coxswain, he's flying. I get picked up and I land screwed up my back. My buddy broke a leg. When he landed, he just broke it.
Fumbled. Yeah.
So he injured three or four of us. And in recon, if you can't do the job, you gotta go. You can't stay in recon.
No.
We don't have job for you.
Right.
And what that screwed up my back. What you do on a rubber boat, your leg goes on here, folded back.
Right.
Okay, to paddle.
Mm-hmm.
I do that, and this leg cramps up.
Yeah. Almost sticks.
Yeah. Yep. So can't do the job.
So
Old Schultz.
get a job that.
What do you mean you got cramps?
Right. They don't care.
No.
Next man up. Come on.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yeah. And it's got to be that way, really.
It does. I did a lot of research.
You know, it's a shame because we lost some real good people. You break an arm, break a leg, or get screwed up.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you for talking to me. I appreciate your time. Thank you for your service. 31 years in the Marine Corps is a long chunk of your life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
from us here at Jefferson County Veteran Service Office, from myself, I would like to say thank you. You know, we appreciate it. If no one else does, we do. So
For me, because I have the honor squad for the Legion, people keep asking me, "You still doing this?" Yeah, I'm still doing it. Why? Well, what you think and what I think is world of difference. I owe the United States everything I got. I owe debt. I may not pay it off, but I'm going to put the down payment on it. So,
well, listen, I know you from outside of this interview as well. Not to a great extent, but you know, Gabe does things with the young Marines. He's always out in the community, and he, from what I know, you have continued to serve your entire life, and that's absolutely amazing.
We're going to keep on doing it too.
Yeah.
When they put your hands like this, that's when you stop.
Right. I had another Marine tell me, he said, "Did I give you it?" He was told one day in Marine Corps boot camp, he said, "Man, I feel like quitting." And he said, "Did I give you permission to quit?" And the guy said, "No." He said, "Then you can't quit."
Yeah.
So
No quit.
No.
No.
well,
Yeah. Sergeant Robbins said, hey, what would he say? I ain't raising no quitters.
and he didn't.
No.
Obviously,
Yeah. I ain't raising no quitters.
that's great.
So when you start with 85 and graduate 53,
It's pretty good though.
yeah,
You made 53. He made 53 really good men.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, that's all the questions I have. Is there anything else you want to
No.
end with? Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna shut the camera down and stuff, and then we'll finish up.
Go check on Muddy.
You can just set those here. I'll take them.